Couldn't the BLM protesters have protested at home too? Were there restrictions on public gatherings outside? If they were protesting in restricted areas or they were gathering in too much, then fuck them too. My understanding is the outdoor stuff wasn't as big of a deal. Or I don't know if there were restrictions on outdoor gatherings. I don't remember. I think there was for a week or two in the beginning. And I know that because Chris Christie got in big trouble because I think he shut down a beach and was like at it with his wife. Oh yeah, the BLM exceptions, LOL. What did I just... Do you see how poisoned your mind is against everything I'm saying? That you can't even... You're not even hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth? What was the exception? If the BLM people were gathering in an area where it's banned or prohibited, then don't. I don't remember the outdoor restrictions. They were restrictions and they shouldn't have done that either. Jesus Christ. Those aren't rights, Destiny. Your argument is fundamentally wrong. What's not rights? You don't think you have rights to not be, like, forcibly infected with diseases? Isn't it literally misdemeanors for giving people STDs if you knowingly have them and you don't tell them? They said racism was a bigger public health crisis than COVID, so they allowed it. Yeah, I saw that letter. That was fucking cringe. You don't have to pray with 10, but it's part of the religion. Some people only pray with 10 people. For example, some people will not go on vacation if there isn't a minyan, quorum of 10 men. Well, time to hop in the Discord group chat. Can you look at vaccine studies prior to 2019? All the ones I'm seeing are showing most major vaccines were about a 90% success rate. Yeah, the ones that we mandated, but flus were never 90%. A flu vaccine was never 90%. I don't think you typically vaccinate children with highly mutating diseases. Usually they were for the solid ones where it's like, well, you'll get this vaccine because it like lasts for either a long time or your entire life, and they're the best ones to give. But like if you got a flu shot as a kid, which some people did, then you would I mean, you can get flu shots as kids, and those were like, what, anywhere from 40 to 70%, I think, depending on the year. Now, in hindsight, would you say the reduction in suffering from lockdowns was worth it regarding the rise in social issues after the lockdowns, i.e. youth issues or depression? I don't remember how many of those things actually came to fruition. I think, retrospectively, to say whether or not the lockdowns were worth it, probably not, but we either needed to be more hardcore with the lockdowns, or we needed to be way less hardcore with them. But we walked this stupid middle ground where you didn't really do anything effectively at all, and it was just kind of a waste of time. But also evaluating things retrospectively is a lot different than evaluating them at the time with the information we had. The point is that once you give the government the authority to limit your First Amendment rights, you get into risky territory in regards to government overreach. Again, we can't point to any time we as a society allow. There's tons of restrictions on your First Amendment rights. What the fuck are you talking about? There are certain like trade secrets I might not be able to say if I sign an NDA with somebody. I can't plan to do a crime with somebody and speak about that. That's criminalized speech. I can't incite people to riot or violence. I can't go into a movie theater and scream fire. I can't. What do you mean? There's tons of restrictions on lots of First Amendment rights. It just depends. The First Amendment doesn't mean you have the freedom to say anything at any point in time, everywhere you want, no matter what, with no restrictions. There are already restrictions on the First Amendment. Obviously, these restrictions are usually very carefully cut out, and they're very purposefully, but at the time, people were saying it was stupid, that the people at risk were old and fat, but you fascist Democrats didn't care. Old and fat? Hello, that's like 50% of the US population. Bum. Right, but you mandated masks for 6-year-olds. Yeah, because I think the idea was you were trying to prevent people from just spreading the disease at all. I don't know at the end of the day if mask mandates for children, or I think closing schools probably wasn't a good idea. Or closing schools isn't a good idea. But you guys you can't even intellectually grapple with that. In your mind, you're not thinking, Was closing schools efficacious or not? You're thinking, why did the fascist Democrats lock us out of schools to destroy our freedoms because they hate freedom and they're communists? Like, that's where your mind is. You're not even able to come to the table to have that discussion. And lots of people said that it was a bad idea at the time, but they were called crazy. Because Alex is having the same problem. Hold on. I want to ask, let's just ask a question. I'm just curious how many people listen. I'm just curious. I'm not going to preload this at all. I just want to ask a question, okay? Let's say that John and Andy are here, okay? John and Andy are these two people. And they're looking at a bowl that's turned upside down on a table, okay? Underneath this bowl, there can either be an apple, a banana. Is that with one N each? A grape or an orange. Okay. There are limits on our First Amendment rights, but when was the last time we saw the government tell grandma she can't go to church, mosque, or any other religious house of worship? I don't know. If I Google right now, there's never in the entire history of the United States ever been lockdowns due to like weathers. There's never been like mass curfews. This has never happened at any point in all of U.S. history for any disease, for any war event, for anything ever. That's never, ever, ever happened ever on the whole history of the United States. Okay. Sorry. John and Andy. Okay. They're both looking at this, all right? Where's my selector? John is asked, not for a long period of time. Remember that churches / mosques / temples were closed in California and not bars. Is that true? I thought everything was closed in California. I lived in COVID in California. Did they not close any? I thought restaurants and bars got closed too. Is he making it up or? Okay, we've got John, and we've got Andy. Okay. Now, both of these people are asked, what do you think is under the bowl? What do you think is under the bowl? John says, I'm not sure. It's like a 25% chance that it could be an apple, it could be a grape, it could be a banana, it could be an orange. So John doesn't know. 25%. He's not sure. Could be any of these things, all right? Andy looks at it, and Andy says, there's an apple under there. Trust me, I know. It's an apple, okay? Andy says it's an apple, all right? John's not sure. He says, I don't know, 25% chance it can be anything. Andy says it's an apple, all right? Here's the question. Do we need to know what's under the bowl to know if to know if Andy or John are making intelligent guesses? Yes, no, not sure. So let me just, one more time. John is guessing 25% it could be any of these four things, and Andy says it's an apple, all right? So my question is do we need to know what's under the bowl to know if Andy or John are making intelligent guesses. All right. You see my super chat? Nope. Destiny has to frame COVID as totally random guesses because conservatives were correct about too many things. No, they weren't. Conservatives were you realize like more conservatives died per capita than liberals, right? Even though they technically had less of a reason to because they were even more spread out. Liberals live in cities. You fucking retards actually death culted yourself because you were too stupid to vote by mail for Trump, so your dumb fucking fat loser candidate lost, and then you fucking died like retards because you were too stupid to get fucking vaccinated, more than the liberals did en masse. Like, okay, I imagine some of these are troll votes. So what, 12, 13% of chat is below, what is it, would this be 75 IQ, 80 IQ? I'd say 80% of that is a troll. I mean, we have no context for the analogy to know if it's an educated or intelligent guess. It's a retarded analogy. I gave you this is all the information. This is all the information that you need. That's it. It's a problem. If you're asked, John throws a ball at 25 miles per hour, how long does it take the ball, assuming there's no friction or anything else, assuming the ball travels, how long does it take to go 25 miles? Do you ask like, well, you didn't tell me if John was on a moving car or not. What?
Tell me. I just started turning in. I want to see if I'm a retard or not. Tell me whatever it is. This looks like a logic puzzle. Please.
Tell you, what do you want me to tell you?
Wait, is this like a thing that like you get right or wrong or no?
Yeah, the question is
okay.
Do we need to know what's under the bowl to know if John or Andy are making a good guess about what's under the bowl?
Say that again. Is there any more context to
there's
it?
There's a bowl on a table that's upside down. John and Andy are both told that there's either an apple, a grape, a banana, or an orange underneath the bowl. That's all the information they're given. John says, then they're asked to make a guess, or what do you think is under the bowl? And John says, I don't know, I can't know. It's 25% for anything. And Andy says, there's an apple. Then the question is do we need to know what's under the bowl? Do we need to flip the bowl over to see who's making a good guess or not?
Well, we would know that the person who says that they don't know is the correct person, because I think that's what you're saying.
Like, wait, what? Say that again?
If you're saying which of the two people is more correct, the person who's saying, I have no idea what's under there, obviously. And is for us to judge if they're good guessers, then...
No, the question is do we need to know the outcome of this event to know if the guess for the outcome was good or bad?
Hold on, I'm thinking, I'm sorry. Do we know that they don't know?
Yes.
Oh. Then we can say they're both dumb. Or that the guy who says it's an apple is dumb. Sorry. We know that he doesn't know, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, am I retarded?
No, you got there in the end, yeah.
Well, I didn't have all the pieces. I didn't know that you didn't know that they didn't know, right? Because think about it in a different way. What about if I don't know? Sorry, let me take this step back. New scenario, okay? You got Lycan and Steve arguing over what's... I come in the room. Lycan and Steve are arguing about what's underneath the bowl. But I don't know that you guys actually don't know.
Yeah.
What about in that case? Because what about if you did know? that's a different situation. Oh my God.
Wow. Well, you probably have to gather some more information. Why did you call Dark Viper AU mentally ill in your last